Good morning, guys. Happy New Year. We took a little break from these interviews due to the holiday and getting back into the swing of things. But please type below. Let me know how your end of 2018 was, if you set New Year's resolutions for 2019 or intentions. This Saturday at Prana in La Jolla, I'm actually leading a workshop on helping to guide your wellness roadmap for 2019. So perfect if you are working towards something. This morning I'm talking with Dava. I'm just going to get her on. And we're talking about a topic very near and dear to my heart, the integration of physical therapy and yoga. So Dava, it just says I'm adding you. And we're connecting. It looks like it may be a go. Yay!
Hey,
Can you hear me?
hello. I can.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me
Hi,
okay?
can you?
Okay, awesome. Yay,
Yeah,
it worked.
I
How are
can.
you?
Yay, we're a go.
I
Good.
know
It's so
it's
good
been
to
a
see you.
while.
It's been so
Yeah.
long. I love
Oh,
all that
thank
you're
you.
doing. You're doing so much. I have to say, if you haven't checked out Dava's Instagram page, what's your
The
name,
Balance
your handle?
PT. Yes.
Check it out. She has a plethora of really great informational videos and tips and trainings coming up. You have a new
Yep,
Facebook
yep,
group you
yep.
started. Is
And
that
they're able
correct?
to vote for, I
So
started YouTube videos too, so they're able to kind of vote on the next video that I post.
awesome.
So it's a way to kind of incorporate a little bit of feedback with what I post. But yeah, yes.
I love it. Love it. So, yes, please check her out. Wealth of information. I love it. So, tell us a little bit more about what you specialize in and what your niche is, what
Well,
you
it's
do.
kind of new for me, as you know. I started out just working in an outpatient orthopedic clinic. I was already a licensed, or I'm sorry, not licensed, but registered yoga teacher. Completed my training during school.
Mhm.
So I always knew I wanted to bring yoga into my practice. And so I started practicing outpatient. I did a little bit of travel PT, and that's when I was able to meet you. And from that experience, I
Mm.
realized that I really wasn't able to bring yoga into my practice as much as I wanted to. But I also learned that there's so much that we as physical therapists have to offer the yoga community as well. And so my passion has now been
Mhm.
into hosting yoga teacher trainings and retreats for uh, students wanting to learn to become teachers. And I've kind of
Mhm.
transformed in the last 6 months into headfirst into preparing for those trainings. So I've taken a little break from the traditional 9 to 5 PT life. I've released an online course to
Mhm.
help students get into a better practice. And I'm working on my second course, which I haven't talked about, which is going to be more of a yoga for healing aspect. So it's more been online based destination trainings rather than me treating one-on-one at this point. Yeah.
No, I love it. So, if you've never tried yoga before, comment below. We can hook you up with some free videos from Dava or get you hooked into her connections. And also tell us if you haven't tried yoga before, what's holding you back? What are you scared of? Because as a community, we can help support each other. And also, if you're a healthcare professional, especially if you've never tried yoga or if you're interested in incorporating it into your practice. Morning, Jen. Good to see you. We'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts because I think there's so many PTs that have been dabbling in their yoga practice themselves and starting to feel the benefits in their own bodies. And they realize that it really could benefit their patients and clients as well. So I think it's a really emerging field, and we'd love to help guide you along the way. So just comment below any questions, comments, thoughts, and we'll get you hooked into whatever information you could possibly need. So, Dava, tell me also, what does wellness mean
I
to
always
you?
look at wellness as just incorporating the whole body, not just your physical health, but also your financial health, your um, everything that contributes to your mindfulness throughout the day, and just being able to focus on um, what word am I looking for? Um, Being able to be present in the moment and not let your past or future
Mhm.
anxiety affect you. That's how I would, yeah, best describe it.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Like a whole all-encompassing
Hmm.
spectrum to bring you here right now. I believe in that as well. So comment below if you have questions about wellness, or if there's an area of your life you feel that you could improve upon. It is 2019, and I know it is a very popular time for resolutions, and usually health and wellness is high on a lot of people's priority list. But you might not be aware of, like what Dava just mentioned, about how financial wellness can impact your health, or even relationship wellness can impact how you feel your day to day, your stress and all that. So it really does, I believe that too, flow together. What's the biggest tip you find yourself giving to your students these days, or new trainees that maybe are going through your programs,
I
that
think
sort
one
of
of the
thing?
hardest things when someone's trying to incorporate like yoga or wellness or any new thing into their life, it's just finding consistency with it. And always, my best
Mm-hmm.
tip then is just to let go of perfection and letting go of feeling that you
Yeah.
have to be 100%. You always have to complete, an hour of it every single day. The tip I start with is just
Mm-hmm.
dedicate 5 to 10 minutes a day to whatever new mindfulness or yoga based technique that you want to get into. And even if it's just sitting on your mat in child's pose for 10 minutes, it's just setting aside the time and making that a habit and not judging yourself of how much you show up during that practice. If you're just there and you're present, you're already making the steps that you need to begin to improve your practice. But yeah, so
I
starting
love that.
small and then working from there.
Mhm. It's a really relatable, concrete example that you gave. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. Comment below if you relate. I know I've been there, especially when my daughter, she goes through transitions of her age and being 3.5. Like, I'll have this intention of doing a 30-minute or 60-minute practice or sit or whatever it may be, and then she's outside the door and really wants to come in, and then the whole thing
Hmm.
changes. And I've really learned to embrace those moments, because I know that it's going to change so quickly. She's going to just age and get older. And so I'm like, nope, this
Yeah.
is the practice right
Yeah.
now. Wonderful. How do you work this all-encompassing wellness that you were mentioning into the practices that you might give
Hmm.
your students, or into your business and that sort
I
of thing?
really, like I've talked about with you before, I love to incorporate not just yoga into my PT practice, but bringing PT into yoga. So I really try
Mm,
to, I let go of some of the more traditional poses that I think we've learned more as PTs that aren't always the most beneficial based on what we've learned through
mhm,
anatomy and functional movement. And so I really try to incorporate more of a modern flow when I'm teaching. I do a lot of,
hmm. Can you
yeah,
give us an
like
example?
for example, like child's pose. Um, when I'm
Mm,
when I'm
mhm,
warming up my students in, say, tabletop position, we'll do some things to strengthen the wrists. To start a little
mhm,
bit cat cow, but I like to do posterior hip heel rocks. I don't know if you're familiar with that
mm.
as much, but working into like posterior hip mobilizations um, from
Okay.
more of a Shirley Sauerman technique. I'm not sure if you trained in that. It was bigger
Hmm.
in the Midwest.
She's
Yes.
been
Okay.
around
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
She's
And
amazing.
so I
Yeah, yeah.
like to start with
Hmm. Um, although a lot of our
yes.
audience, just if
Yeah.
they're not PTs, might not have any clue what we're talking about. So, maybe just describe it in layman's terms, what exactly they might be, how they
Yeah,
might be moving.
I think the best way to describe it is a lot of us become victims of sitting in a chair a lot of the time. And so when we're sitting in
Mm-hmm.
that chair, we can
Mm-hmm.
start to create a little bit of decreased mobility in the hip joint. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
incorporating a hip mobility type warm up into your yoga practice can make a huge difference to when you get into the standing poses. so that you feel like you have a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
space in the hip. So what a hip heel rock
Mm-hmm.
is when you're on all fours on the mat, and then your knees are a little bit wider than your hips, and you're just rocking back like you would for child's pose, for instance. But you're trying to
Okay.
keep your
Got it.
back and your spine neutral. So this forces the motion to come from the hips rather than lengthening through the spine. It's kind of hard to describe without seeing
Got
it,
it.
but
Yeah. Okay. No, no, you did great. Yeah. Yeah. So they're getting the mobility through the hips and not the spine, which is
yeah,
the
so just
intention.
taking little things like that and
Uh-huh.
incorporating it through different yoga poses throughout the practice, just using an understanding of anatomy and everything that we've learned
Mm-hmm.
throughout PT school, and just trying to add little bits and pieces of it throughout a yoga flow to just make people able to activate the muscles a little bit easier, create mobility instead
Mm-hmm.
of just moving in the path of least
Mm-hmm.
resistance. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I always, at the end of my yoga practice, I'm incorporating a lot more mindfulness, meditation towards the end, and I've just kind of ventured into sound healing as well. I don't know if you practice that,
Mm.
but yeah, using like a
Not
gong
cons
bath and yeah, and singing bowls. So
bowls.
that's been a
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. Um I used to teach at a studio where there's a
mhm,
couple of teachers that did sound healing and they were amazing. So that's when I did it most consistently because I was at the studio. And I don't know, the benefits are very profound. In the moment, you can really
yeah,
feel it, and then it has this longer lasting residue. It's on the wish list, the bucket list, to eventually do some type of
yeah,
training, but
yeah,
getting there one thing
of
at a time.
course.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So are you incorporating it into your own practice now as a student, or do you hope to bring it into your trainings, the
Yes, I'm
sound
going to be
healing?
incorporating it into my trainings. I'll talk a little bit about that, but
Awesome.
that's probably gonna, if they want to get more
Uh-huh.
education through sound healing, I'll give them resources rather than, you know how 200-hour training, there's only so many hours. That would probably be a module I would
Yes.
offer maybe in the future for a 300-hour.
Yes.
But yes, but it will be a part of my trainings
Yes. Perfect.
where they'll get to experience it. So yeah.
Awesome. I love it. That's great. Um, so, you're doing all these really wonderful
hmm
things and a lot of growth through your yoga practice, through your business, all these things. What's the biggest challenge you find yourself encountering these days or over the past, like through the last
Yeah,
year?
one of the hardest things, I think, stepping into my own practice, my own business, is I didn't realize, uh, as you step more into what you want to do, I didn't realize that there would be people out there that sometimes would try to kind of hold you from stepping into that space, if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of resistance around me as I do it that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
expect. And so it was just kind of a new thing. You just have
Mm-hmm.
to let go and understand that people don't always, want to support what you're doing, and that you just have to really
Mm-hmm.
stay grounded to the people that do, and focus on moving forward
Mm-hmm.
with that, and just continue to focus on what your purpose is, and why you're doing what you want to do in the first place. But that's definitely,
Yeah,
yeah,
fine.
with my whole, having a non-compete, not being able to teach, having to move across the country.
Yeah.
So, that sort of stuff, that was one of the toughest things I think I went through. But now, I'm doing so much
Yeah.
better. So now that I'm
Good. I'm
not
so
limited
glad to hear
anywhere
that.
anymore. So
Good. And it seems like you found your tribe
yes,
of people on
absolutely.
Instagram, which is really
Yes.
support. And you know what they say, or I hear, is that, the more that you really talk to your people that are your tribe, your
Yeah.
supporters, your biggest fans, then the more you have a chance of turning off others because, we can't always please
Yeah.
everyone all at the same time. So maybe that just means you're on the right path of continuing to talk to
Yeah.
your people and attract your people. And, other people, that's just where they are, and that's
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Um, Well, Jen has something about sound healing. She's done some sound
Oh,
baths
okay.
as well. Yeah, maybe Jen, we should all go to one here.
I'm not able to see the comments on mine. Am I supposed to be able to? I wasn't sure.
Sometimes, so I am not a Facebook
Me neither.
guru by any means. As some of you know, I've had some echo problems, which was a very simple, apparently, solution of just wearing
Oh,
headphones. Um, and so sometimes I can see the comments and sometimes I can't. And I don't, again, it probably is a very simple answer that I just am
that's
not
okay.
aware of. No worries. But we can always pop in. If we do miss your comment, we'll pop in afterwards and respond. So, any other parting words of wisdom you'd like to share with everyone?
In regards to yoga or in regards to starting a yoga practice? Just
Whatever you feel, you can
okay.
speak from your
Okay.
heart.
I would say to be kind to yourself, to put yourself in your self-love first, because I feel a lot of people that are struggling on their path, a lot of the times they're not putting themselves first and doing the things that they need to do in order to create more light around them and into their lives. And so if that was my one tip, it would be
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that your cup is full before you try to give others. And there's nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
taking that time for yourself and making sure that you're grounded, because I feel that that's going to bring so much power into every other aspect of your life, whether it's through relationships, whether it's through work, whether it's through your parenting. If you make sure that you have a strong foundation yourself, you're going to be able to offer so much more. So yeah, that would be if I had one
Yeah.
tip, it would just be don't feel guilty to be selfish sometimes, to create the foundation that you need to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah, so important. Thank you for sharing and thank you for that reminder. Totally agree. So you listed your Instagram
Hmm.
name earlier. Do you want to share with
Yeah.
them again? And then also your website and information for trainings. And when we get off this call, you can just
Oh, okay.
link it
Awesome.
to
Yeah, I
the
can do that.
comments
So
below.
you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, just at The Balance PT. And then my website is thebalancept.com. That has all the information for my trainings. I also have some YouTube videos for low back pain, neck pain, and I'm getting ready to add some more as well with that. But yeah, just thebalancept.com. If you Google search that, you'll probably be able to find all three of those right away. Yep.
Perfect. And I'll leave the Ignite Wellness Facebook group for anyone that wants to join that. I'm working on getting some content for that for 2019. I'm bringing that together. So it's a great place for like-minded thinkers to carry on these
Yeah.
conversations, essentially. So thank you
Of
so much
course.
for
Thanks for
coming.
having
And
me.
yeah, good luck with all your trainings. I'm excited to see
Yeah.
all this growth and hear all the positive feedback. I'm sure that's going to
Yeah.
come.
Yes. Well, thank you. It's so good to see you, and I'm sure I'll see you probably within the next month or so when I venture to San Diego. So, yeah.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Allison.
Okay.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.